Happy Halloween, my Planet Coaster friends. I am joined here with a special guest here today.
Ooh.
Chant.
Oh.
I was
Hey,
about to
how's
call
it
you
going?
Chantini.
Close enough.
Chantini is here in the house,
Hey, guys.
and it is Halloween. So, Project PlanCo, the very last ride that needed to get into the park, just so happened to be the Dark Carnival for King Ghoster's spooky area of the park. And it just so happens to be, October 26th when the time this goes out, which is the week of Halloween. You can't write the stuff. It worked out perfectly. The timing was great. So the final ride is in, and now from here we get to start designing the plots and moving forward with the project again, and it all worked out so that this is Halloween. Very, very cool. So Chantini has decorated our little corner of France here.
Yeah, Halloween took over, and it's creeping in through the alleyways between France and Italy. I couldn't help myself, so little did these builders know that part of their building was going to be spooky.
It looks great. I love the lighting. This is cool. Wait, is this the queue?
So this is actually the queue for the main ride.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it starts early.
Wait, can we go in the carnival?
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of it's left undecorated.
Because we're going to have plots.
Yep.
You guys
So
get to build in the carnival eventually.
there's a lot of placeholders, things that will be probably just ripped out and replaced by whatever you guys make with the plots.
I wanted to point this out. Dark Carnival, turn the flashlight off. Evil.
Dark evil.
That's amazing. Really well done. Okay, so as you guys may know, we had a song picked out called The Dark Carnival from the Bitter Elegance. You'll hear the song on the ride. You can find the song on Spotify. Links are down in the description below. And we wanted to make a musical dark ride.
This is not decorated.
Okay.
And probably needs to be redone.
So you want us to theme the queue as plots or something?
Either that or hand
batch?
it back and I can redo it.
Hand it back. Okay, well, so if you're willing to decorate it, we'll keep that in mind. What's going on here?
Like I said.
Okay.
Q needs a little work.
All right. The queue needs work. Either Batch will do that or we'll hand it back to you.
There you go.
And then we've, what will eventually become a plot is the boarding station, right?
Yep.
Very cool. Oh no, Mr. Ghoster, what happened?
He's been captured. Yeah, he's a goner.
So, do I need to let the ride run through?
No, you can just close it, reopen it, hop on. So one thing I do want to point out before we ride is that because I buried the track, sometimes the audio gets really quiet and sometimes it gets loud, and that's very frustrating. I don't know if there's audio changes that we can make in the game or not, but yeah.
Or something we can maybe fix in post, but yeah.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that, though. That's easy. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, this is the Remotion track. What is it called? The robotic arm ride? Remotion. Is this something I'm going to have to turn reshade off? Because remember when you did the France ride, the lights didn't show up as nicely?
So, I mean, I don't know. I didn't do any special lights, but
Did you use
I
those
don't know
Christmas
how.
lights everywhere? Because you can see how they dim a little bit.
I did not. I
Okay.
did not use it.
Well, I'm going to
So-
just assume it's fine.
It's fine.
If it looks horrible, you'd be like, okay, let's turn reshade off. But look at that track length. Okay.
Yeah, the track length fits perfectly to the song length, so I didn't change the song.
I'll try to shut up for the ride. Normally I just mute my mic, but I'll not say anything other than some oohs and ahs and googly mooglies and keep it quiet so you guys can enjoy the ride. And am I going middle seat, I guess? Like seat 3 or something?
Seat 2, probably. That's what I usually did. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Step inside.
Ooh.
Welcome to the maze.
Wow.
Enjoy your time inside the mirror. Walking and running from the corner. There's another. There I am. Where's it end? Think I've lost my mind.
This is creepy.
Thinking I go sinking. There's
Why, thank
another
you.
awful feeling. There I am. Where's it end? Lost inside my mind. Make it stop.
Whoa! You did the falling people thing?
I did.
Oh my god.
The game is survival. In this dark carnival.
Whoa.
Find that exit. Do it with some grace.
My
It's
god.
only fear that's laughing in your face. Walking down and running, things of glory, gotta hurry. There I am, president. Think I've lost my mind. Is there someone chasing me? My heart is pounding, racing. Here I am. There's no end, lost inside my mind. Make it stop.
Nice. My god.
The game is survival. In this dark carnival.
Those things are so creepy. Chant, you need help. Oh my god. Wow, freaking Lee. That is incredible.
Oh, good. I'm glad you think so.
Wow. Wow, freaking Lee. I see what you're saying about the audio. I've never experienced that on a remotion track ride. What is causing that?
I assume it's because it's underground, like the majority of the track is underground. The ride will do that, even if it's above ground. If you go through a door like that, it will also reduce the volume and then it'll come back up when you go through thresholds. So I'm assuming that's what's causing it. And we could just dig out the whole trail. And I don't know if we could cover it with wood or something.
Is that because the
to
speakers are
hide it.
like down here or something?
I think so.
I see.
Oops. That goes through a tree.
Thinking I go sinking, there's a
So I think that's why it's easy fix and post, but I didn't really want to mess with it without consulting, so.
Okay, well, maybe we'll leave that to the master batch to tinker with if he wants to see what's causing that. Because ultimately, I see what your point is. You don't want to dig holes in the ground if batch has plans for what's supposed to be there, right?
Yeah, and it's just a little unsightly, but I mean,
Right.
but I
Well,
mean,
for
for
the
the
most-
majority of the ride, we are looking up, so.
Yeah, so it depends on what we're actually doing in terms of like where you can walk around. Because where do you get off the ride here? It's
Yeah, you get up
left.
there and you can come out, yep, towards the entrance area, which is going to be about the main
So
entrance.
we can actually have stuff around here and plots.
Yeah,
well-
Batch will have to play with that.
Yeah, I'll have to
Certainly to
figure
the
out-
left here.
Yeah, so we can make this area bigger if we want and actually have it so you can walk around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's all fine. But like, I think in terms of Planet Coaster itself, the packs, what you can do, this covers majority of what you would want from a spooky area in a theme park, right? Like, it does the job. Do we need a bunch of haunted houses and what else can you build with the haunted pack? Just haunted houses, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that we did a carnival is even better, and then there can be some spooky creations other than like small little assets that people make, which isn't really spooky pack anyways. It's probably going to be mostly basic shapes, like half of these clowns that you made and spooky monsters. Not a lot of it actually comes from the spooky DLC pack. It's just stuff that's already in Planet Coaster, right? So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, it's like how much spooky can you actually make in comparison to that of fantasy, sci-fi, and all that other stuff. It's much more minimal. So I always, originally when we planned this whole park, the spooky area was meant to be small, and our western area was also meant to be small. And
Really?
it is small. Like the western area is small because like how many western buildings do you need? right?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, we want to make a few to show what you could do with the Western pack. Same with the Spooky, and that's it. The Western ride ended up being big.
Huge.
So
I kept running into it everywhere on the map.
and same with the coaster. So yeah, basically the areas are small, and to showcase what you could do with Planet Coaster Western art as well as Planet Coaster Spooky art, it was meant to be bite-sized. So the fact that your ride takes up majority of the area but delivers a good spooky experience is exactly what completes that. We didn't forget about Planet Coaster Spooky, and if we can get the community to add in some extra stuff, fill in between, Batch does his magic work, we can, you know, dress this up a little bit more and fully complete that of Planet Coaster Spooky as well as Western. So I think it's perfect. And the cloud you were saying I would get mad at you, it doesn't seem to be lagging out my computer.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was sorry because I did use like clouds a little bit everywhere to give it just to engulf the place, basically make it really a haunted carnival.
Yeah, it still seems to be running pretty good. We'll see what happens once we add in like all these plots. I should probably turn fog off, but yeah, I think it's perfect. Now we have a spooky area. We have all of our main attractions in. It's go time. We get to make stuff. The ultimate plan originally, I don't know how many plots and little doodads and requests that we can put in the sign out form. Me and Batch will talk about it, and we'll see what we can come up with. But obviously, we want to try to get at least a handful of blueprints that people can make some spooky stuff with here. And between this and all of the plots, we'll hopefully in the next week or two have a sign out sheet where you get to choose from fantasy, sci-fi, spooky, western, and adventure. And instead of the city, you're going to have 6 themed areas. Is that 6? Something like that, right? To choose from. And that's where Project PlanCo 2.0 actually begins, with the final milestone, thanks to Chant.
Yay!
And I kind of wish we had Jeffrey Wynn Prince here, because it was his band, him and his wife, that made that song. And I think you did it justice. I'm sure he's screaming at his monitor right now. And it would have been fun to get his reaction on this, because I remember when you did the prototype, I showed it to him over a call, and he was losing his mind. Now with all the crazy falling people and creepy clowns and whatever the hell this is, it truly came out to be something dark and gritty. And that's where, like, I think I talked about this a little bit in the past, but now we can truly analyze everything as a whole. You can see how dark and gritty, like, okay, you listen to the Bitter Elegance music and how that song was in particular. It sounds nothing like that of this one here. Have you seen this coaster yet, Chant?
I think so.
But listen to this song.
That sounds nothing like the one I worked with.
Right?
Oh, this is cute.
Hiding in dark makeup with giant sunglasses.
It's all out of sync now.
Happy to go home each night and snuggle with cats.
It's a princess song, Snuggling with Cats, right? And that is the same band and the same artist that did this Dark Carnival that we just listened to. Like, what a complete
Fun
contrast.
range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why originally I was like, oh, wow, I got to pair up with the Bitter Elegance to make a theme park, because their wide range really does create a lot of contrast and doesn't feel samey, right? So it's kind of amazing to see the contrast that we have between all of the rides, but that is also kind of like the core fantasy of that of Planet Coaster. You know, you have all these like city kind of characters like our Foxy and our Just Ribbon, but then you have the complete opposite of, like, you got Professor Worst, and you have the Princess and the Missy Goods. They all have these extreme contrasts, and we extremified all of those things, like with the Tyrant. Renee Fu is actually a villain in this ride, and we really like pushed her character to the next level. King Ghoster, kind of happy little, he's basically this guy wearing a bed sheet, right? He's a pretty happy dude, but you would never expect him to be centered around what is a pretty darn creepy ride. Right? And that's what I love, is the contrast is that we didn't go into Project PlanCo going, everything is smiles and, what do you call it, cliche. Like, it's not spot on to that of PlanCo. it's something else.
It's our PlanCo.
We've magnified all of the personalities and taken them to the next level, and it really goes to show now that we have all of the main rides in how different they are. And I was talking to AKA Superman. Love the shooting ride. It was like 15 minutes. I don't know if you saw it, but it was insane. So we're gonna try to add some voice acting in there. And since I got you here, we can put you on the spot. But AKA was going to write some lines, and then we need someone to read those lines. We were hoping we could get someone to do Miss Ellie. Do you have a Southern accent?
Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, so
Not very good.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not bad at all.
Work.
Yeah, so if you want to read some lines, we might be able to get you as Miss Ellie over here. I think that'd be kind of fun. But yeah, the shooting ride is a massive journey shooting ride with what will eventually become voice acting, and then the song rides like this Dark Carnival, the Princess, this Missy in Wonderland is insane as well. RMC, bit of a rock and roll, dark heavy tone, and all of our main attractions are completely different. And that's what I wanted from a theme park from the very beginning, was like, I don't want to just ride coasters that have your standard Planet Coaster soundtracks on them and go, oh, that was a cool coaster. I wanted it to be something memorable that you're like, wow, that was an experience. But then I wanted the next one to be a completely memorable, different experience. And then as you go through them all, you kind of have a hard time choosing what was your favorite, because they all have something different. And depending on your personality, you know, somebody out there might like really love the whimsical fantasy girl pop vibes that this, you know, Princess Coaster gives, and someone else might have a completely different edgy personality where this one calls to them, right? And I think that way, at the end of the day, we had a little bit of something for everyone, and it's really beautiful to see all of the main attractions in, and they actually accomplished exactly what I was hoping for from the very beginning, and that finally being completed now here today with the Dark Carnival.
Yep, and shout out to the Bitter Elegance for you know, contributing and letting us use their songs, because it added so much character. I'm gonna call it community character, because this is a community project and it's coming to life through you know, each individual creator. But their songs have just allowed us to really explore it to a new level.
Yeah, and as mentioned, though, their songs have such a variety. You know, I know some people aren't like the biggest fan of certain songs, but then there are some songs where they just jam out to, right?
Yep.
And that's what I love about the Bitter Elegance music as a whole, is that there's even just like this park, there's something for everyone. Their music, there's something for everyone. And, you know, I think we didn't want to oversaturate it either. So we have songs on every other main attraction, and then voice acting as well. So it's not just like everywhere you go in this park, you have the Bitter Elegance music, but when we use it properly. And in the case of a Dark Carnival, every theme park has a spooky area, or most good theme parks do. And they're the Planet Coaster theme parks in the past, and you'll probably see it a little bit from this Halloween that I've been doing. It's very, very rare that you get something that doesn't come across as PlanCo Halloween. You know what I mean? Like we did a Halloween contest years back, and basically everyone made a huntsman with the spooky drapes and the ghost that pops out at you. You know what I'm talking about?
And the Haunted Mansion.
And the Haunted Mansion. Like they were all the same.
Very straightforward.
So we could do that here, or we could do the carnival, and then having a carnival song that's super creepy that goes with it. It's no longer like cliche vanilla Planet Coaster. But it's an evolution of that. And I think that's what we did with all of our areas. You know, when you think of Planet Coaster sci-fi, you don't necessarily think Cosmic Cow, but we took that and amplified it. But what you will think of is what we'll have here later with Dex R, and that'll be more generic sci-fi. So we try to hit on like what makes the vanilla Planet Coaster good, but then PlanCo-fy it, right? So you can think of Germany, and we have a little bit of Germany everywhere here, but then we have this. And that is like extreme German. And, you know, you think of fantasy, and then there's extreme fantasy. So when we get to our fantasy plots, everyone gets an opportunity to make vanilla fantasy. But then when we want to step it up a little bit further, we got Alice in Wonderland fantasy, right? So it hits on traditional Planet Coaster, and then it hits on community. Like, what can you do when you exaggerate Planet Coaster? Which we've seen throughout the years, right? Like when we see what people have done with spooky, like pixelated, right? He takes
Oh, yeah.
he takes it to a whole new level. And it's like, it's not a community, Channel 5 community project unless we do that. And Chant, you pulled that off here on a pixelated level. And I think that's more important to have than our generic haunted house, ghost pops out at you, spooky drapes, you know, that sort of thing that we've seen 1,000 times. But I still think that should be included somewhere here. So we'll see what Batch can do for plots. Maybe we can have like a little haunted house at the back here or something.
Yeah, I don't disagree. We can pull a couple of those tents. They don't need to be there. They're just there for filler. So there's a lot of room for, community builds.
Absolutely. Okay, well, is there anything else you wanted to add? Is there anything I forgot? Is there anything you wanted to say that you wanted me to say, or?
Daddy Poe was the one who put in a was it?
Prototype?
Yeah, thank you. Words are evasive today. And so I did a nod to him there at the front of the circus tent, the first circus tent. Zoom in right there. He had these little monkeys out in front of his entrance. And I thought they were fantastic and creepy. I added a couple arms to them, so they've got multiple arms now. But that is my nod to Daddy Poe.
All right, shout out to Daddy Poe. Yeah, he did the original prototype and didn't have enough time to finish it and said his computer would die if he even tried. So while he wanted to do it, he knew he couldn't because of limitations. Completely understandable. So yeah, from here, we're kind of in limbo, guys, because this ride just came in and next week we don't have any follow-up Project PlanCo content for you. And now, you know, we have all these plots that need to be put in over here, over there, over here, and down here. So there's a lot of stuff, and I don't want to pressure Batch to do it all in a week, but Batch is kind of insane. he's kind of a magic man. So if there just so happens to not be a video next week, it'll be the first time ever that we don't get a Project PlanCo video out. We haven't missed a week, and I'd say that's been pretty paramount and pretty impressive that we've made it this far without actually having a lull in the content. But the bottleneck has been all of these rides, right? Passing the park around. These don't get built in a week, guys. It's been an extremely difficult process for people's computers to run this, to build the rides, to get them in. And I'm surprised that we staggered it out and got it done in such a way that we did. So everybody's been extremely impressive and impressed us. And what we're hoping to do for next week is to get, hopefully Batch find some time over the weekend to get some plots in and kind of block out some of what will become. And we'll just record that process, and then Batch and I will talk over it, and then we'll have kind of like the development of what you guys can come to expect, how many plots you can come to expect, and hopefully we'll have something for that next week. And in the following weeks to come, like, could be any time from now until the end of October or start of November, there will be a point where we do the sign-out sheet like we did here with the 80-something plots, but they're going to be for all of these other lands. So get yourself ready to build is what I'm saying. We've talked about doing the raffle idea, the first come, first serve. We're going to figure that out in the coming weeks. But everyone's going to have an opportunity, no matter what you're a builder, a master, a legend, advanced. You're going to be able to get your name in the bucket, and we'll try to find a plot that's just right for you based off of the area of the park that you're most interested in. And I think that's where things get a little bit juicy, because before we're just all doing generic city stuff. Well, not generic, but like, you know, city stuff. It was all one theme. While we did have little like characteristics where we could put on them, you know, certain hero builds, and you got to make something pretty thematic. It's still, at the end of the day, it was city with a twist, something to, you know, bring it up a little bit. Where going forward, if you're picking a fantasy plot, we expect you to use the fantasy pieces, and you will be doing something. And I think everybody in this community has their preferred choice, whereas when we gave you the option to pick a city plot, everyone was probably going out of their comfort zone, you know? So everyone had the opportunity to try city, which is probably something that they didn't do before. I know with me, like, I've always wanted to try doing something in this PlanCo style, so I got to finally play with that. So that was kind of new and fun for me, and it came together kind of cool. So what would I like to do as a plot? Am I going to do a plot? Am I going to sneak one? For me, I've never, ever, ever done Western or fantasy.
Wow.
So I've done sci-fi. So if anything, it makes sense for me to not touch that.
Have you done spooky?
Not really, no.
Ooh.
But spooky, I mean, I didn't even consider it, to be honest.
Wow.
I don't want to.
Wow.
I don't want to make like a little haunted house or something.
Oh no.
I wouldn't mind doing like a little Western building like this.
And then you're gonna put a ghost in it, and poof, it's haunted.
Exactly. Isn't it the same thing?
But you can't do a spooky house. Okay, all right.
True. Well, I'll make a spooky Western house.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna hold you to that. I want to see it.
Well, I kind of wanted to do like a cosmic farm. I think that would be kind of fun. Something where I get to put plankification in, but do it as fantasy, you know? I don't know. We'll see. But I definitely probably going to have to... I'm sure people would like to see me build another build. I don't want to take a plot as big as this time. But I'm definitely going to grab one. And if you had your choice, what would it be, Chant? Definitely not going to be spooky because you just did this.
I mean, I don't know. I'm always a big fan of spooky. I haven't really done Western before. I mean, I live in Arizona, the wild, wild west, basically over here. So maybe that's why I just haven't built any of that. But yeah, I can go look at.
We did just so happen to be neighbors in the city. You made this one, and I made this one. Maybe we could work it out in a way where we get these two tiny little 1x1 shops over here in Ft.Chant, because there ain't a lot of room unless we can push the mountains back or make a little bit more room. Unless you want to do like a gigantic boarding station, but
no, I do not. 1x1 sounds great.
Definitely, because I'll probably run this by all of the creators who actually contributed a massive ride as a thank you, and just as a thank you to all the creators that made the main attractions and, got their ride in the park, Chant being one of them. I think all of them, including you, deserve kind of like a first come, first serve pick at a plot. If they want, right? That would only be right. So I was just throwing that out there. If Chant were to, take that opportunity to get a first come, first serve, what would you pick and why? And she says Western might be something, and I'm actually leaning towards that too, because I'm limited on time, and if we're ramping up the project, I'm going to be putting all these plot, I'm going to be a little bit busy with all of these plots again, recording the videos, editing them, and going back into full production. So I probably wouldn't mind like a little build like this that's a little less on the complicated side. And I've never really gotten to try Western, and I think all these little doodads and stuff are really quite nice.
Yeah.
Western comes together really nicely.
I agree.
So maybe I could build like a little build over here next to Zaphor. Something like that. All right, so I think that's everything. That's the plans going forward. That was the amazing final ride to get into the park. Now, there is going to be a phase 2 for most of the stuff, as you saw with this ride here. Once we get more blueprints in, a boarding station, all these little things, it's going to be worth a revisit. Same with the this ride over here. It's like there's a lot of plots that are going to go in. There's all these sky plots that have to be built. People have to make all these little cities on these plots. So all of these rides are going to look different when we ride them again in the future a second time. And it's based off of the community's contributions that go in the surrounding areas and the details based off all the plots that we do. So every single ride in this park is going to be evolved a little bit. I'm talking with the guys about adding audio to the shooting ride. So even if we don't add in a whole lot of extra doodads here, we'll be listening to it next time around. So I think everything's going to shape up to be different the second time around, and everything's going to be worth a revisit, and I think that's pretty exciting. So that's pretty much the plans going forward. We have the final rides in. Plots are coming soon. Project PlanCo 2.0 begins now. If we get enough plots in quick enough, I'll probably start doing 2 videos a week again, and I think that's going to excite a lot of the people. So thanks to Chant for getting us your Dark Carnival.
Heck yes, just in time for Halloween.
Just in time for Halloween. Amazing. Couldn't have timed that better. Thanks to Bitter Elegance for the amazing Dark Carnival song. And thanks to Batch yet again, as we know he's going to have fun with the plots, and he does it the best. He plans it out, and I look forward to seeing how the plots come together in the coming weeks. But I think it's a good time for everybody in the community to start getting excited again, as we haven't done a contest in a while, and people haven't been able to add plots to Project PlanCo for a while. So everybody's going to have the opportunity to build again, and that should hopefully get Discord buzzing. So here's to the future of Project PlanCo, everybody, and I look forward to seeing what everybody builds and comes up with for these upcoming areas. And thank you for joining me here today, Chant.
Of course.
We'll give little King Coaster a wave goodbye, and we'll see you guys in the next video. And happy Halloween. Have a spooktacular day. Bye now.
Happy Halloween. Bye.